Thank you for joining San Antonio Soccer Roundtable. My name is Harry. Joining me tonight is Rafa. Royce will be back with us on Sunday morning when we go over the RGV match. But with the unfortunately horrific event that took place this week near San Antonio and Uvalde, figure our initial thoughts this week will be um, on that. Just it hits close to home, and if you'll pardon us, we'll share a little bit about our thoughts on it. We'll try to keep it. It's political. Not somebody that's going to say it's not political because it is political at this point. There's no other way to discuss it. But as a father of two kids that go to high school, middle school next year will be high school. I was in Colorado and in Denver when Columbine happened. I remember I left work. I still remember it like yesterday. We left work early, and on sports station, everything was all about the Columbine shooting at that point, and that was 20 some years ago. Before I had married Monica, we hadn't even moved to Texas at that point. My biggest frustration at this point is we got to do something. I don't care what it is. It's not the doors, as Senator Ted Cruz is trying to say. Part of it's mental health, part of it's guns, but there's got to be a start somewhere. We had Sandy Hook. We've lost 19 kids here, two teachers. Had a gentleman that passed away because his wife was unfortunately killed of a sudden heart attack. For that here, and they'd been married 20 years approximately. Just that community, it's we're close to that community. Rafa can probably talk to a little bit more about it. I grew up in a small town, probably a little bit smaller than Uvalde. Everybody knows you, everybody knows your business. People probably don't have the doors locked at night just because you don't think of, unfortunately, shit like that happening. And when it does, it's going to devastate the community. It's going to take time. It's going to take a lot of time, for these families to recover. And I'm not even talking about financially, just the mental aspect of it. But Rafa, I'll let you say your part here, and we might have a little bit of a discussion, just on it here. But your thoughts. I know you grew up on, I believe, on the other side of Uvalde, down in Del Rio or that area, I believe. So your thoughts, because I'm assuming Uvalde and Del Valley, or not Del Valley, Del Rio, probably very similar in makeup.
Just Uvalde is a little smaller, but before I start, I just want to send condolences to all the families and the school, the town itself. I have two aunts that live in Uvalde, and that was when I saw the report. That was my concern about their safety. Hopefully, it wasn't around their neighborhood, and but like I said, just want to start all condolences to them, prayers for them. Just the situation, knowing Uvalde is a tight community that I know about. Uh, it's a great little town. Need to be back. We'll discuss that later time. I think I know. I think it has to do with the soccer team in my alma mater, but that's another discussion there. But no, but like I said, the focus here, like I said, when I saw this, and I was felt very disheartened about it, because just knowing the community and we covered Uvalde, like this year I covered Uvalde's girls soccer team when they played Bernie and so forth, and they're great there's some great people there, and just for this to happen to them, it's just mind boggling, especially just in our kind of like in our backyard, and just the situation it was in. Like I said, I have a younger brother that works as a school district cop in Del Rio, and you're worried about can he if he's going to be in a situation, and I have a niece that's 11 years old, and I worried about that too, and I think not getting into politics and stuff like that. I think one thing we do need to come together as one and be progressive and make some common sense changes. I think if we can do some common sense changes, things will be better. And we're not trying to infringe on people's rights because, like I said, I taught U.S. history. I know everything about the Constitution. So, once I get a debate, like I said, I know my stuff. So, like I said, my kids had a 94% passing rate on the text before my last year teaching. So, it's nothing about infringing on that. I think it just comes back to the common sense. I think times have evolved. We're living in different times, and I know them throw the mental health stuff and this and that. That's not just part of it. There's more. There's something deeper than this that's causing this. But also the access to certain things, and and I think our government officials need to kind of open their eyes and see, what can we do to prevent this, and see what what can we figure out how to do better protection. And I've heard things like, oh, well, we need more teachers with guns and more security and all that. But being in the education side in the past, it's really not going to make any changes. I think there's other solutions and that can be better, and but also bring the communities together to work with one another. So, like I said, it's a tragedy, and I'm hoping it's gonna take a long time for them to get over this, but especially when you lose a child, and I can only imagine, and like I said, like I can imagine that you lose a part of your soul, and that's something that I feel for the people over there, all the victims and so forth, and like I said, my prayers are out for them, but like I said, we're gonna persevere, we're gonna get through this, but we all need like I said, the common denominator is we all need to come together and be progressive and find a way to start preventing these things and move forward. So that way, our kids are there, feel safe, because they should be feel safe going to school. It's their education and so forth. But I'm sure a lot of these kids are having anxiety. Like I said, we have some school districts here, that decided, hey, you're not going to have a backpack, or we're going to finish the year earlier, or we're taking more precautions at graduations and so forth. And they're not taking any risks for allowing this. So, like I say, everybody's on kind of like on high alert. So, but like I said, hopefully we can get through this. And like I said, my prayers are going to be with them, and we just got to move forward and be better.
And I'll add, I grew up in a small town. I grew up in the country. I grew up around guns. I had family members that were law enforcement. And the story that's coming out, it doesn't make sense to the average person.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope and pray that the community can get the right answers, get the truth, whatever the truth is, because it's gonna come out. This isn't going away. Just come out, be upfront. What happened with it? The part of the story that I don't understand, that frustrates me, is the 30 to 45 minutes to an hour before they went in and engaged, with the shooter after going through. It may not have saved these kids here. It may have. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
But for the public to be able to move forward, and for us to start having more trust and to be able to have these discussions, we've got to have the truth, no matter what the truth is. If unfortunately a police officer, made a mistake, whatever the situation is, get ahead of it. They're already changing the stories. If if Texas can't do it, have a third party coming in, New Mexico, Oklahoma, the federal government, have somebody come in that can do an independent review to figure out how we know how it happened, but how could have it been how could we have cut down that time to wait? It's horrible to see the videos of family members wanting to go in and being restrained by the police and the police not going in. If a 18-year-old is able to go in and buy a weapon that can outgun the local police department that gets a huge amount of the budget, then that's a discussion we have to have. And I'm not saying take away guns. That's not what I'm saying. I'm a firm believer, hey, background checks, mental health checks, education. To me, I grew up, I was taught to respect the gun, and I don't believe that to be the case nowadays. I don't think people, or pardon me, I don't think some people don't respect, what the gun and the capabilities that it can do. And until as a society we can get back to teaching, respect, education along those lines, this is going to
responsibility too.
Yeah, responsibility. And to me, you've got both parties, and this is both Republican and Democrats. You can't be on extremes on this side here. Come together and say, okay, hey, we'll pass background checks. At least do something. Now, this guy passed a background check. It wouldn't prevent. You're not going to prevent these 100%. Just like you don't prevent DUIs. Just like you don't prevent anything. But to just throw your hands up in the air and say, hey, we disagree, we can't do anything. It's just a circle. It doesn't make sense. And I can tell you this, the American public is getting fed up with this. As a society, we cannot keep going through this every 2-3 months. And it wasn't even months this time, it was weeks. But
there's like I said, there's too much. There's like a playbook of deflection by certain groups.
Yes.
That
it's both sides.
And it needs to be. And one of the interesting things I kind of read, there was a article I read, from studies from Texas State University. Like, I have a criminal justice degree, so I understand how law enforcement works. And I read they did a study about as far as how about armed guards at schools. Do they even prevent shootings? And the shocking thing is it hasn't. It's actually increased. And when you do research like that, and that kind of sets a light bulb and say, hey, okay, if this isn't working, we need to do something else. And like I said, we need to come together, be progressive, and have some common sense on certain these things. Yes, he passed the background check, but let's say, hey, you need to do, if even a student that goes a driver's license has to take a test and pass it. So it's the same thing. You should do the same thing when it comes to weapons. Take the test, see if you can pass it, show responsibility, show, okay, can you respect it? I said, there should be nothing, I don't think there should be an issue for that, and also even taking, it's kind of even like with coaching soccer. I had to take license courses to coach club. If I want to get better or I want to learn more and how to work with players and this and that, I had to get educated. There's nothing wrong with doing stuff like that. And like I said, it's not going to always prevent certain situations, but at least it can minimize, some of these, situations, and we can hopefully, be able to pinpoint who actually can be responsible holding, a weapon and who can't. So, and like I said, if I think lawmakers really kind of have to buck up and get something done. And I think the president kind of made a good point. It's like, when is it enough? Enough's enough. We need to, regardless of who we're left or right, we need to come together and fix this because it is broken.
So there's no easy way to transition this here, and like I said here, I'm sure probably at the end of the show we'll give our final thoughts and prayers to Uvalde again here. But moving on, unfortunately, COVID's back. Never really went anywhere, but it's unfortunately back. San Antonio FC Colorado Springs match was canceled this past week. The Colorado Springs match the week before was canceled. Phoenix Rising New Mexico was kind of canceled, and I won't lie, Phoenix was kind of done dirty. By the league. So Tulsa, New Mexico was canceled. So we're back, man.
Too much party in Miami, I guess, or something. After that win, something happened. But I'm glad our players are back, and they're all right and so forth. But I mean, I was really looking forward for this game, and I'm just kind of depending where this reschedule this game is going to be key because we hopefully they don't put it within. That's going to really kind of stretch out our team. And, we're barely kind of getting healthy again. And, could it be a blessing in disguise?
That's the one blessing about it is it gave the guys a week off after a pretty
travel.
And, I kind of made a joke that hitting Arizona, Texas, where we reside, but went to Houston and Florida, the trifecta, if a team's going to hit COVID, you've got three of the states that don't give a crap about COVID, we'll say, as far as it seems like, for much of the society. Just keep washing your hands. If you're inside for long periods of times, especially with people you don't know, wear a mask. The place where I work, and I work from home, but, some of the trainers, it's going around bad. One of the trainers that I got COVID, she went out, with a function for work and, and ended up catching it. And I saw somebody, that I'm friends with online that their father unfortunately passed away from COVID. So I know this isn't a great way to start the show, but those are the topics we have to start out with. But so San Antonio FC, we'll see when they rescheduled it. They haven't announced it as of yet. Good news for San Antonio FC, I guess you could say, is nobody's really hold on, let me pull up the standings here. Nobody's really moved a whole lot in the Western standings. San Antonio and Colorado Springs still tied at 24 points. San Diego Loyal went down to Edinburgh and took a 2-1 loss. Controversial on whether that second goal crossed or not, but
we'll take it.
Per Edson Ochoa, the AR is the one that called it. He was on the goal line. So it went. Rising's lost back-to-back games. Tampa Bay routing on May 15th. And then, the debacle that was in New Mexico where they won 7-0, where it was basically academy kids playing against the starting 11 for New Mexico. El Paso's fifth at 17 points. New Mexico United back-to-back wins over Charleston and Phoenix at 16 points. And then, seventh is Las Vegas at 16. RGV's at 15. Sacramento's at 15. LA Galaxy's at 14. And, Oakland Roots at 13. Probably the biggest upset. Monterey Bay went to Louisville City, the Fighting Sam Gleedles, and got a 2-0 win over there. So good news, bad news. SAFC wasn't playing. Looking at the table results might have been a good thing. So
yeah.
They didn't, they can go now. They've got, game in hand, 1 to 2 games in hand on most people. That's below them on the standings. Switchbacks do have 9 games played. We played 10. So there's still lots of season. It's early. Only team that's ahead of us point wise is Memphis at 11 games, and they're on a roll, and they're going to pick up most likely another dub this weekend playing Atlanta United 2. So it's for 10 games in-ish, and I know we talked about it the last time. San Antonio is in a good position standing wise. Being off didn't impact them at all. In fact, probably gave them a little bit more breathing room.
I think the rest was needed. I think we were just. I think you can tell in that Miami game we were kind of, we dominated the first half, but the second half you can tell their legs were kind of getting under them a little bit from all the travel.
So moving on to some player news. Rafa, I think somebody was listening to the show.
I think so. I think we talked about our player depth. Hey, we need to get some players. Guess what? We got 2, and we got a familiar one too. They got Nacho back.
So your thoughts on Nacho coming back and what that means?
This is a big score for us. Now we have 4 forwards. When Patino comes back, we have 4 forwards that can put the ball in the net, and just to him being a change of pace. Plus, he's got that rocket lit foot that we're kind of missing. He likes shooting from the ball from the outside. I think we're missing that too. This is a great pickup, So no rush now, really, for Patino. Just to get, as long as we get him 100%. Hey, we got Nacho there, and also it's going to give Collier and Dylan some time off too, because they've been working their butts off. They've been playing a lot of minutes, so Nacho, is a good change of pace. He's going to help, keep them fresh, and now we have some depth up front. So kind of pick your poison now, like which forward combination you want, with the forward that we have.
And from Kevin Bass, part of the SAFC communication team here, Bologna, appeared in all 17 matches in 2020, played 657 minutes, had 3 goals, 3 assists. And last year he played in 10 matches for HNK Cybernek in the Croatian first football league here. So I'm not sure how that compares to USL, but we needed depth at forward. That was one of the positions that we asked for. And you also asked for more assistance on the defense. Now, I'm not sure if this is who you had in mind. Jordi Delem, signed from the Seattle Sounders for that here. He has 116 appearances professionally, only 1 goal, 1 assist, but over 3,700 minutes in MLS, 71 starts. He is coming off of a ACL injury for that here, and that's why he hasn't played. He has been practicing though with Seattle for that here. I reached out to a couple of buddies that I have out in the Seattle area that covers them. They were kind of surprised he went with San Antonio FC and not re-signed with the Sounders. But I think he signed with us knowing that he could get playing time.
Mm-hmm.
But the question is where do you see him playing? Because he's, from all intensive purposes, defensive mid. Was it right back or left back? I forget which one that he. Right back, and he's also played a little bit on center back. So as far as versatility, and a Alan Marcina player for sure.
Yeah, he brings a lot. All that experience, and then he's like a switchblade knife. He can plug him anywhere, which is great because I know our defense is playing a lot of minutes. I know Garcia and Tainer. So this was a great pickup because we, now with Manley down right now, we were kind of a little thin on the defensive side. So this is a good pickup. So if we play, I'm not saying
he starts.
I don't think he starts, but he comes in, or he plays maybe if we play some of those I don't want to say cream puff teams in the USL, but
I think he starts.
I mean, you can do with any combination because the starting three that we have with Kamiri, Tainer, and Garcia.
Well, he won't be on the back line. I think he starts in Manly's
on
position.
The wing, on the outside.
Yeah.
So that's a possibility. So that's just a great pickup. So and then we're putting the right. That's the thing with we're putting the right pieces together, and I think we're still missing maybe one more piece. But I think Marcino's and I have a feeling where the area we're gonna add that. I think it's more gonna be with the attacking mid. I know we have Nikki and I know we have Lorera, but we may need someone, especially if we go down into the season and even in the playoffs. We may need someone that has the experience that can kind of create chances, and then because we've noticed
I think that's David Lorera and Nicky Hernandez.
Yeah, but we still
got Beckford too.
Yeah.
So with bringing Nacho back, you got to think Patino is going to get healthy at some point.
Yeah. So we may end up going back to that 3-4-3, or you can still stay with the 3-5-2. So Marcina is going to have different combinations and.
Robert, they're not going to add Pirano.
No, he's on vacation. He's enjoying the Mediterranean right now.
Just because the season ends, he's got to, and you're not the only person that's done that. He's got to take some time to rest to get ready for the new season. So as much as I would love to see Pirano back, no chance.
Yeah, he's living it up there somewhere, some beach in the Mediterranean right now. But I think maybe we could see another signing, depending on injuries and so forth. But I think we're solidified, and then we're also, like I said, we're close to being 100%. So I think now it's going to be really interesting because we have a really deep, talented team. We actually have depth, and I think the other teams are going to be kind of like, they're going to be kind of afraid of us because we're getting the right people in the right spots that we're kind of had holes in. Like I said, I think Marcina is going to be like, hey, pick your, we're going to pick our poison here, in any combination that we have. So I think it's a good balance of experience and youth. And I think that's going to take us far, deep into the playoffs again. Hopefully, like I said, maybe this year we finally punch through and get to the final.
So, and this is, and thank you to San Antonio FC communication team and Kevin Bass here. San Antonio FC has opened the season with the different starting 11 in each of the first 10 matches, winning 8 of the 10 and using 17 different players. The only position to remain unchanged has been Mitchell Tainer. In my opinion, you don't normally see that in a team that's in first place, especially at this level. Now you could maybe see Man City, Real Madrid, PSG, maybe where you've got all that depth and that star talent.
Bayern
Munich, but you have more consistency in your lineup. And at this point, San Antonio FC has not had that consistency due to injuries. Part of it's due to player additions coming in and out, along those lines. And I'm sure Marcina is still tinkering a little bit, I guess you can say, because I know we're off to a good start, but I don't believe Marcina thinks to our ability as of yet. And I think part of that falls on the offensive side. And, like I said, if Royce was here, he'd be singing the praises of Collier and Dylan, for that here. But especially as it's getting warmer, you've got to have that depth, because you can't keep running them out. Running to me, and you may be able to answer this better than I can. I don't think Dylan and Collier are the types of players that can play 90 minutes each game for 30 plus games.
No, and that's why they brought in Nacho for that. So maybe pair him up with Patino, because you can put those two in the 60th minute if you need to generate offense and so forth, or you really want to. And the one thing is that both of them have speed, and that's the thing where we're kind of lacking with. Not saying that Dylan's, like I said, Dylan has improved some little bit of speed, but he's not. He doesn't run like a deer, like kind of like what Patini does, or like or Lorera. But still, the great thing is, we're winning games on lineups that you're expecting, and we haven't had I don't think we had the same lineup the last few games, or we got to figure out how many different lineups have we had this season for all the games, even the cup games too. So, but the thing is, we needed out of the depth, and I think these are two key signings that are going to help us and move forward, and hopefully, like I said, once we're 100%. Injury free, the other teams are gonna start hitting the panic button, because they're like, okay, now let's play. Now, I don't think we've reached our full potential yet, but we're going to. So, and that's the scary part about going later into the season.
Yeah, it's. Speaking of that, Copa Teos. And with what's going on in Uvalde, we haven't had the normal buildup between RGV and SAFC for obvious reasons. I'm hoping that pre-match or during the match at some point that SAFC and RGV will come together arm in arms and not just, come together, intermix between the two, at the center circle, whether it's the 18th minute, 15 minutes, or pregame, however they're going to do it. I would expect to see that. I would love to see the Crocketeers and the Stampede or the traveling supporters, stand together, either at that, as well for that moment. We'll see if it happens or not. I know there's a bus that's going down. I believe Robert and I will be on it with AJ. So that should be exciting for that here. So thoughts on RGV Part 2, and this one counts. First one for Copa Teos did not count. This one does. Well, it's an uneven match, and I understand why they didn't do it. Previous match was a 2-1 win in RGV on March 27th. For that here, Collier got us on the board in the 34th minute. Dylan Brozak equaled it up right before half in the 44th, and then San Antonio equaled almost immediately by David Lorera on there in the 45th minute, and then in the second half it just kind of played out how San Antonio FC does. As we know, HEB Park's not an easy place to play, as San Diego found out, and a lot of other teams. San Antonio seems to have success down there, at least recently. Robert's going to be driving the bus. That's why the Czechs decided to pass for it here. Hey, Robert, if you're driving the bus, that means you can't be drinking. So think about it.
Yeah. There goes his Lone Star there. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting game coming up. I know. I'm sure they're going to try to make. Well, here's the thing. Can RGV make an adjustments, especially because they're not going to know what lineup we're going to put out there, and they've been. I don't think I don't know if they've been hit by their injury bug, but I've kind of seen their lineup's been kind of a little consistent. But how are they going to prepare? Because now that we saw that Lorera wasn't on the injury list, now that changes things. And then also now with Nacho, but probably coming in, and then I think Nicky Hernandez is going to be back. Here's that thing: Nicky Hernandez didn't play the last game,
right?
And so he's going to be a factor.
And we don't know if they're going to be playing this game, to be fair. Just because they're not on the injury list doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be back for that here. I will say their starting goalkeeper Miller went out with an injury against San Diego. Tyler Derrick came in, so it's they've got quality goalkeeper there. Eric Pimentel is back compared to the first time. The problem with RGV and listening with down in the valley is, number one, they're very thin up top on the attacking side. It's really still Frank Lopez.
That's all they have.
And congratulations to Frank on 100 USL Championship appearances, and some of those came in San Antonio. So congratulations to Frank Lopez on that. Borazak is a guy, Coronado and Yukaza. So they do have some talent. I just don't know, and this isn't the only time that's happened. When teams press them, especially on their back line, they tend to make mistakes. We saw that with Maloney on that first goal there, where they pressed them. I know RGV argues, hey, there might possibly have been a foul. It wasn't called, just like they got the benefit of a goal going in that may not have been going in. So we'll call that even for that here. It'll just. I think these two teams know each other. Whether what the pieces are, I don't know if that really matters. Just because with San Antonio, they're going to press. RGV is going to try to press. RGV will have the ball more, and I think it's been proven so far this year. If San Antonio scores, they win. Yes, they allowed one goal to RGV, but generally speaking, if San Antonio scores, they're going to win. So I won't say I'm not worried about this game, but
I think I would have been more worried about playing the Colorado game. Let's say we had won that game and then we got a let down at RGV, and I think maybe this not playing that game was probably a blessing, because now we'll have a team that's going to be focused playing down there, and now that we have some pieces back, we're probably going to give them even more problems, especially on the midfield and up top. So I think, and it's a tough place to play, but I think we have enough to we got to score first. That's the main thing. We got to get a lead, because our RGV doesn't play really well, down when they're down. And I think we've done really well keeping leads and so forth. So that's going to be the key this Saturday.
Yeah, Robert points it out. It's a huge pitch and windy, and that is the referees. That's a U.S. referee situation. Depends on who the referee is. There are some great referees in USL, and there are some that, Rafa,
they need to retake the test.
I wish you were on the pitch. So, but to me, like I said here, I know the Crocketeers the Crocketeers running the bus. I know SAFC has a watch party. It'll be on ESPN Plus. If you can make it down there, go down and support. I don't believe it's a full bus as of yet for that here, but I'll be excited to kind of see how it works out for that here. And I know me and AJ are going down on the bus, so that Sunday morning recap. Rafa may be having a long night, depending on how another game goes for that here. Royce, I'm sure he's dealing with family, but he'll be watching the games in through here. I'll probably be stumbling in because the bus doesn't get back to 1:32ish, and it's going to be parked, down at Alamo Beer for that here. So to be able to go from downtown to here, so you're figuring what 2:33ish before we do it.
We'll have to do the brunch episode.
Yeah, brunch episode. Robert's I got the beer. going down, Robert, you got the beer. I'll get you a ride home. If you need a ride home from the bus here, at that time here, so that way you don't have to Uber back if you'd like. So, but should be a fun night. It'll be just like doing this show. It'll be hard to not think about Uvalde and along those lines with these two Texas teams that I'm sure are, the teams itself may not know specifically people in Uvalde, but I guarantee the community down in Edinburgh and the RGV Valley, just like here in San Antonio, has family over in Uvalde to where it will hopefully it'll be right. I'll just leave it at that. I don't want to speak for anybody for that here, but hopefully SAFC and RGV will work out something pre-match. So for that here. So next topic is yours.
Oh yeah. I was kind of surfing around Facebook, and then I saw, hey, what the heck is this?
So per Kins 5 report, Spurs Peter J. Holt exploring possible purchase of Mexican soccer club Querétaro. I can never say it. FC. He is one of the rumored several potential buyers of the club. It would be interesting to see that here. It says, in addition, RC Buford is reporting among possible ownership group of the team here. And it lines up with, if the report is true, it lines up with SE looking to expand the Spurs brand outside of San Antonio. Holt possible owning a team in Mexico will help that. Part of the tie-in for the Spurs is that they are going to be playing one game in Mexico City for that here. MLS decided to turn down the Spurs ownership, so looks like they are going south of the border.
Yeah, that's not this makes interesting. Like Querétaro is known as the Gallos Blancos. I guess we're gonna end up turning into the Gatos Blancos.
Matt says there's two bidding on that. Do you have any idea who's bidding on it? Or
There's gonna be some bidders. There's gonna be some bidding down there, I think. But if I'm Liga MX, and have Spurs Sports Entertainment interested in it, you probably want them to own the team. And I think with their, now here's a situation, because we've heard rumors in the past, possibly Liga MX is looking into San Antonio as as playing, having a team here. There is a fan base here. Like I said, a lot of people are familiar with Liga MX here.
San Antonio is separate.
Yeah, the thing is, maybe losing out on with the MLS. I think having a Liga MX teams, that really kind of throws a little curveball to the Austin area, because there are a lot of Liga MX fans there too that will make their way down here, and you got to look at a Liga MX too. They play in Champions League, CONCACAF Champions League. Hopefully they'll get back in the Libertadores. That'd be great. And then also remember the supposed merger with MLS and Liga MX playing and that's a possible, and that's what that's why they're reaching out and trying to get that team.
Robert, it's weird that they want to buy that mess. It's not because they're going to be buying it low. And Rafa just hit on the point that I was going to make. If there is a merger between Liga MX and MLS, if they already own a team, what's to stop them from moving that team into the U.S. at that point? If it's a merger,
yeah. And the one thing here, like I said, there is a fan base here,
yes,
and also your close proximity to the border, the valley. There's a lot of crazy Liga MX fans in the valley that come up here too. Monterey. Yeah, totally. Because if you look at the games that SAFC's had when they brought things like Pumas, they brought Querétaro, they brought Tigres, and they've brought Santos. They've been really good matches there at Toyota Field.
Mm-hmm.
So the fan base is there, and I think having that that team here is really going to open the doors a lot as far as with soccer here in San Antonio, because we're going to be put on the map. This is just the possibilities are endless, and especially if that merger does occur, now we have a rivalry game with Austin now that really means something. That would probably mean something, and it's I think here the games are going to be close as the sellouts, and it's just exciting, and like also think of the talent that they can bring in. I know they're going to inherit the Querétaro players who had nothing to do with that crap that happened with the fans and this and that. They're going to inherit those players, and they're going to be able to buy some quality, probably some big names that come down, here to San Antonio, and that's going to, attract more of those, more of the fans that come to see. And then, like I said, who's not going to want to see Club America play here in San Antonio, or Chivas, or Santos, or Tigres?
Well, it's not even that. I don't have a Liga MX team. Mm-hmm. If SAFC partnered or became a sister team to to a Liga MX team, I would have a rooting interest in that team.
Mm-hmm.
Also the ability is one of the things that I've always talked about is how do we build the brand of SAFC, especially among the Spanish community, the Mexican community along those lines. This would typically invest into that. You would have to think.
Mm-hmm.
Because you'd have to imagine that there's going to be advertisements both in Mexico and in the United States for both clubs if they're tied
Mm-hmm.
if they're tied together. Also, the ability for the academy kids, to be able to go back and forth from the two academies, to be able to,
play down there,
be able to play down there, or then play up here. If you got somebody that's maybe not ready for Liga MX, but I'm not sure what the Division 2 level is compared to USL Championship, which one's higher, I guess depending on who you ask on that. So, but that might be something to where, where where it may be something that where it could give more opportunities going both ways. I would like to see it. Number one, I think that would stop everybody from saying, oh no, the Spurs have no interest in soccer. If they're investing in another soccer team, the odds of them saying, hey, we're going to get rid of SAFC, I think that probably shuts that rumor down, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
And Matt says, plus we'll get true supporters groups, which, as much as I love the Crocketeers, I'm part of the Crocketeers. It's not a traditional supporters group. Mission City, Bear County Casuals was more that traditional, supporters group. But
you're gonna have a lot of those people here to be part of that, and that's the thing. If you watch any
Robert Holt is SSNE.
Yeah,
I believe he's the one that's in charge of SSNE. RC.
Now, if he keeps, Buford said, if he keeps the team in Mexico,
I think I wouldn't be.
I think for me, I'd bring the team here, but there's a whole legal action with the United States Soccer Federation. But I think they can pull it off. But if they do, like I said, they are going to move the team out of Querétaro. Where are they going to put them at? It's going to be up in the air. I think.
You think they'd move them out?
They're getting punished for that, for what happened, and they're not going to have a team, and so they're going to move all the players. Yeah, so they're. I see.
Robert's saying he's going to independently buy them,
but he's going to tie into. He's going to tie into the thing of the whole Spurs Sports Entertainment. He may buy it independently, but they're going to have that. That connection. The only locations if he's going to keep the team down there is probably going to be Veracruz, or it's gonna maybe
Is
be
there any
Morelia.
that's close to the border? Any areas that's close to the border?
Those are the only probably the closest areas. Maybe San Luis Potosí, but what they'll probably end up doing is, do what the Spurs are doing. You know how they schedule 4 games, away from the AT&T. Is schedule a couple games or maybe exhibitions here in San Antonio to feature the team, to start kind of a fan base, because you never know. Eventually, they could end up, if they see, hey, you know what, we're getting sellouts at these exhibition games. I think we need to move the team here, and that's a possibility. So I can think him purchasing it's a win-win for San Antonio, because it just makes things a lot better soccer-wise here for for this town. And I was part of a Liga MX team academy, and we got a lot of recognition and so forth, and in terms of the name brand. And here's a good way to build a name brand, from scratch. But the thing is, now you have now you give our neighbors up 35 some competition, and which now you're playing in a league that's, I'd say, more legit, but a little bit more. It's got more recognition. It's gonna attract, a lot more fans, and I think that's what he's really exploring to, and hopefully he does get the team.
So last topic's also yours. Champion League and Kylian Mbappe. Both of those kind of Real Madrid related. One I'm assuming you're probably pretty happy about. Hopefully even more happier come Saturday.
Yeah.
One we'll just say you weren't very happy with.
let's just say this: the best player in the French national team is playing on Saturday. The other one, and the one that he's opposed is not playing. I think, watching a lot, especially like ESPN FC. Some of those guys, make comments about Mbappe not going, and I think they were right. You got to challenge yourself. I think he's just staying in the league that's too much. He's too comfortable with, and I don't know if he felt that the pressure was too much, would be too much on him. Kind of like, I don't think he wanted to fail. Kind of like with Bale, kind of with the situation with Bale, or maybe even with Eden Hazard. But Hazard has more to do with the injuries too. But I think he didn't want to have that responsibility and being the face of the team. And that's why I think he stayed in the little comfort zone there, plays a little Farmers League, because they're not going to win Champions League. They just don't have the talent to win Champions League. They're not, I don't think they can beat Liverpool. I don't think
It's all
they can
about
beat
the draw, my friend. It's all about the draw.
But
because you look at Liverpool's draw,
mm-hmm.
Did they really
beat anybody?
Disrespectful? Did they really beat anybody?
Not really.
But Real Madrid did. Disrespectful to who they played at all. Just you look at the draw that Real Madrid had, or it was a different level. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. I'll see some of the.
I don't like either one of these teams. So.
Well, I know Liverpool's a favorite for Saturday, and like I said, I'm hoping we do pull off and get the 14th championship. And I don't know. It seems like it's a team of destiny with all the comebacks, and but the one thing is you got to give it to Carlo Ancelotti. He's a great manager. I mean, he's the only one to win a championship in all the top 5 leagues. That says the quality of coaching he has, and I think also he's got the players believing, and that's something that can really kind of like help you into certain these type of games and so forth. And I think Real Madrid is going to have something to prove. I know they're, like I said, they're not the favorite, but they have something to prove, and I think they want to. And like I said, don't be surprised to see another little comeback magic or something after this Saturday, and then hopefully they'll be lifting the trophy for the 14th time.
So your prediction?
I think Real Madrid will pull it off maybe 3-2. I think we get a comeback.
You think this one will score? That won't be one of those. The thing that I don't like about finals is they tend to be very, I don't want to say defensive, but at least in the first half, they're not as exciting. I'll just leave it at that.
It's kind of like boxing.
What it is. Yeah, you're filling it out, and they're off to a little bit slow. But 3-2. I don't know who will win. To be honest with you, I don't.
Watch Rodrigo win this game. That's the guy they have to look out for. I think he's Mr. Champions League right now because he's been hot on those games, and I know Vinicius has been playing great too. And I'm gonna say, got to give it up for Benzema. He's gonna win the Ballon d'Or. He's been the best player in FIFA. I know Lewandowski's got all the goals and all that, but Benzema at 34, he's really elevated his game, and he's carrying this team. And I know they had that bad loss with Barcelona because he didn't play that game. Had he played that game, I think the result would have been different.
No, Barcelona's better, my friend.
No, and that, especially when they're broke. But luckily, like I said, as a consolation for Real Madrid, they did sign another French player from Monaco. I think Aurelien. I can't pronounce his last name. He's going to be something special too, and I think they've already kind of solidified their midfield. So once the big three with Modric, Casemiro, and Cruz move on, they got Valverde, Camavinga's, but that's another kid, 18 years old. He's just been lights out, and Ancelotti's like happy having that signing. So
Robert's got it 3-1 Liverpool.
Just remember, Salah doesn't play well in the finals. He always gets hurt. But remember, Sergio Ramos is not playing in this game. He is in France.
To me, just look at the run. You look at the playoffs that they had. They went through PSG. They went through Chelsea. They went through Man City. Compared to Liverpool, went through Inter, Benfica, and Villarreal.
Yeah, they didn't play quality teams. And that could, like I said, it's like kind of like I mentioned about the high school stages. You play a bunch of cream puffs, it's gonna haunt you back in the playoffs, and this could come back to them. I think, like I said, Real Madrid is battle tested, and also remember they got those 13 championships, and like I said, Ancelotti's been in finals already. He's won a couple of them already.
Robert's already confirming a red card.
For Ramos. Actually, here's the funny fact: Real Madrid did not get a red card this year. This is the first time they've done it since like 1983 or something. So the Ramos factor is not affecting on it. Hopefully, like I said, Alaba kind of steps it up there. Hopefully he'll be back ready to go.
So I asked this question to hardcore podcasts that our buddies Phil and Mika do. That also do the Seriously Loco. I'm going to take Real Madrid off of the table here for you, just because I know you're a Real Madrid fan and you'd probably pick them. But who is Rafa's European team of the year if you had to pick one out of the big leagues in Europe?
I think Liverpool. I mean, they've won those two, those cup trophies. Two of them.
They did not win the Premier League, though. They came up short.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
And you're predicting that they're going to come up short in the Champions League.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Liverpool, interesting.
Yeah, I think
it's a good shout. It's a good shout. Don't get me wrong.
Like Man City.
With all that City is because they choked in Champions League.
Yeah, and all that money that they have, they just can't really. Now, here's the thing. I know they're going to get Erling Haaland. Is he going to be the difference maker for them?
I think he does. Because they don't have a striker. You give them a striker up top, that's a different option for them.
I don't know if he's accustomed to playing the Premier League. I think he may have trouble playing in the Premier League because he's going to be targeted a lot.
It's Man City though.
But if you look, you're looking at teams like like Tottenham, Chelsea. You got to look out for also Newcastle United because they're going to have a bunch of money to buy players. I think it's a rougher road. I think it's going to be rougher for him than playing in the Bundesliga, because the Bundesliga there's only 2-3 teams, which is Bayern Munich, Dortmund, and maybe Frankfurt, because they won the Europa League and so forth. But is he going to be able to adjust? We'll see. I don't know if he even fits Guardiola's system. I think he's more of a run and gun type of forward, and that's what Dortmund was. So I don't know if he really fits their system. And he probably would have been better off playing maybe like either Tottenham, or I know Chelsea needs a forward, because I know they're going to
Chelsea's they're going to be going through some changes. I have a feeling this offseason.
Yeah. So
final thought. I got one. I'm going to end the show on a positive for her. But any final thoughts that you have?
No, just as far as final thoughts, like I said, back to prayers out to the people there in Uvalde. But I'm just looking forward for this weekend for soccer at SAFC with the Copa Tejas, Champions League, international soccer. Mexico's playing Nigeria at Texas State at Jerry's World.
Nobody cares.
I don't know why they're playing there. Every time they play there, somebody gets hurt. I wish they'd play somewhere else, play Houston or play here. Don't play in Dallas anymore. So I think we're going to start seeing a lot more international games for preparation.
Oh, that's right. There is U.S. soccer coming on too, right?
Yeah, they're supposed to be playing
coming on
June 1st. Yep.
Against who is this? Who is this?
I think they had the champion, like the League of Nations or something, pretty soon.
No, the U.S. men's national team.
I know the League of Nations is coming up in the summer.
Then, so June 1st they play. Was that I'm trying to see who the heck this is.
Martinique.
Yeah. So they play them on June 1st in Cincinnati. June 5th, they play Uruguay as a friendly. And then June 10th, they play Granada and Austin on June 10th. And then June 14th, El Salvador. That one's in El Salvador. And then that's it. That's it until end of June.
I think it's September. They may be playing Brazil and Argentina. I know Mexico's playing Brazil sometime in September. I think that game's going to be in Las Vegas. But I think if Brazil's going to be here, more likely the U.S. is going to play them somewhere.
So we need to brush up on our international. We need to see if we can recruit somebody that's international as well. No cares about the U.S. bus being parked. Well, English isn't your strong side there, Matt, but
they're parking the bus.
Robert, I know a few Nigerian kings who said, I have a hidden inheritance and email and Social Security away from retirement. Yeah. Click on that link, buddy. So my final thought here. I need to set this back up here. What did I do? Is our buddy James Hope. He is part of the Urban Champions Academy here in San Antonio. And his U19 boys recently won the South Texas President's Cup and will represent South Texas in the regional finals in Frisco, June 14th, 19th, against other regional state champions from the 13 states of Region 3. Then he talks about as an inner-city soccer program of 65% of our student athletes at poverty level below. It's a 6-day financial event is draining, so they are asking for some assistance. If you follow James at jhopehope16, he has a link May 26th at 3:53 in a GoFundMe page, fulfilling the dream of a champion for that here. If you can, and Rafa can kind of go into, I've never coached on this. I know this is James Love, helping these young kids out, helping them, mentoring them. I know he posted on here that, the players must maintain a B average if they want to get academic scholarships. So James is one of those great role models, he provides that foundation for that here. So, and in there, they've got a, breakdown of the amount that they're asking for here. So if you can donate, please check out his stuff here. I did invite James very, very last minute on here, and unfortunately, I don't think he got it. He's probably out on the pitch for that here because this was a last minute show. But with all the stuff that's going on in Uvalde, just how life is short. It's no matter what the exit reason is, when your alarm clock up is when the alarm goes off for us. So maybe you can kind of explain a little bit, what it means for, number one, for the academy, but more importantly for these young boys to be able to go and play in a tournament along those lines and winning the South Texas President's Cup and what that kind of means here.
It means a lot. I mean, especially like I said, when I coached club, I had interesting players, and I was able to win one a while back. It's a good feeling, and also it showcases the talent that we have within that area, and they're going to be playing some of the best teams around that region, and it's a great opportunity for these kids, and hopefully maybe someone get spotted for hopefully playing on the next level too. So good luck to them. And like I said, if you can, donate, it's a great, like I said, it's a great cause for them because it's for them, to build the soccer program and also to help these kids, hopefully they'll win it all, and you never know. Like I said, they can bring a championship back to San Antonio, maybe even get to end up going to the national finals and so forth. So just when they have the time, just like I said, send a donation in, and good luck to them, and hopefully they'll bring some hardware back.
Yeah, and to me, it's I know there's money's tight, for everybody. But if you can, like I said here, to me, what a great accomplishment it would be for for these kids to go up and represent San Antonio and to be able to, number one, just experience it. For that, I've talked to James a lot of times on these. A lot of times these kids don't have the same support system that we provide Anna and AJ, along those lines here. If you know James, half the time he's getting players to and from practices, just because their families can't because they're working. So if you can, help out James and the Urban Champions Academy, please do. Like I said here, it's to me, for these boys being able to do what they did is a great accomplishment, and to me, it's investing in their future. Along those lines, for that here. So, yes, Robert, South Texas asked DCFC about the talent. Yes, they are enjoying the South Texas talent as through there here. So, for me, like I said here, no way to end the show. What's life without goals? But this show is hard to do just because, everybody's thoughts are with Uvalde. And if you take the hour or so to listen to this, thank you. Like I said here, just make sure you hug your loved ones for that here. Enjoy the soccer this weekend. Champions League, I guess that's kind of a bigger game than SAFC and RGV, but
it's still a big game. It's a rivalry game. We don't want to lose that. Bragging rights to Edson.
Yeah, Edson, we love you, man. And sorry we couldn't connect with you as well. And Robert, like I said here, I'll definitely take you home. Like I said here, there's no sense since we're going to be getting off the bus at the same time, assuming that you can drive us, get us back home safely. But thank you guys for tuning in. Love you. Thank you, Robert, Matt. For the chit chats. Thank you, Julie. We'll need to get a little bit more details on, why Del Rio needs Rafa back. So I'm not sure if we're ready to give him up, but thank you for everybody tuning in. Like I said, please hugs, give your kids hugs and kisses. And like I said here, as well as any of your loved ones. But thank you.